Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Right now on your screen, you are looking at the face of a man that has come out hot so far in the LCS lock-in tournament. 3 games in, both Jiizuke and Evil Geniuses are looking really great. And during an offseason and really a whole year in 2020 where a lot of people were critical of him, a lot of people were skeptical of him, including myself, about how well he would be able to do going forward, whether Evil Geniuses should move on from him entirely, what they should do in the mid lane. Yeah, I mean, Jiizuke has answered a lot of those questions so far. Again, it's just one preseason tournament. We don't want to overreact too much or anything like that. We don't want to kind of overhype anything just yet, but so far, so good for Jiizuke, and so far, he's shutting up all the haters and calling everyone out in a big way. In this video today, we're going to be talking about just what the Evil Geniuses season has looked like so far, where they stand in terms of the rest of the teams in the league, where Jiizuke stands going forward, and one of the spicy interviews he had as well. But before we get into that, real quick, I just want to mention a word from today's sponsor, which is DraftBuff. This is a fantasy esports website and app where you can play right now in the browser. You can download in the App Store, you can download in Google Play. They have LOL esports fantasy games for the LCK, for the LEC, and the LCS. Obviously, the LCK is kicked off. The LCS has the lock-in tournament going on right now, and the LEC is going to be starting very soon. So if you want to get started playing fantasy sports, fantasy esports on a great site, DraftBuff is an amazing website to get started. You can play with over 100,000 people that have already joined on DraftBuff. I've done a few drafts on there. I've done a draft royale. It's a ton of fun. The app is great. The website's good. You guys should definitely check them out. I'm going to have a link in the description down below. If you get signed up, use code IamGerm. I'd appreciate it a bunch, and so would they. With that being said, let's get right into today's topic, which again, we're talking about Evil Geniuses. We're talking about Jiizuke. We're talking about how great they have looked so far. So first up, if we look back on what Evil Genius has been able to do so far, again, they are off to a very hot start. Here's their 3 games that they have played so far. First up, they have the game against Cloud9, which was the very first game for each of these teams in the lock-in tournament. It was obviously the first game of Perks in the LCS, which people were very hyped up for. People were expecting Cloud9 to just kind of run over Evil Geniuses in this game. But as we can see, it was a great start for Evil Geniuses. It was a great start for Jiizuke. Impact absolutely popped off on the Renekton. Definitely went 9-2, which was surprising, but a very pleasant surprise for Evil Geniuses fans. But Jiizuke going 1-1-14 with the Syndra against a very aggressive pick of Yone from Perks with the Ignite, which was a tough matchup against a tough player. But Jiizuke held his own and had a really awesome game. So that was a great start and a big win for Evil Geniuses, because this Group B is honestly kind of weak other than Cloud9. I mean, we expected FlyQuest to be a little bit better. They haven't been great. We expected Evil Geniuses to be solid, but not as good as they've been. So if Evil Genius is playing well, they can really kind of run over this group, especially now that they've already beat Cloud9, because you only have to play every team once. So once you beat Cloud9 once, which it was nice that they got to play Cloud9 at the beginning, because since this game, Cloud9 has definitely looked better. But again, it's a team that's going to take some time to mesh and develop and stuff. So Evil Geniuses, I'm not going to say they got lucky, but they were kind of fortunate to play Cloud9 maybe earlier on than they did. But again, they started out well, got a big win at the beginning, surprised a lot of people. Then they played a game against Immortals where, you know, this is Immortals with Potluck and Keith, Joey, a lot of their, not even their usual team. Immortals is already kind of a weaker team, but this was, you know, even maybe a weaker version of an already weak team. But more of the same stuff. Impact looking amazing again on the Renekton. Jiizuke 4-1-9 on the Zoe. He looked great. Started the game off with like a double kill early and just kind of snowballed the game out of control. This was a really easy win for Evil Geniuses. And then finally, Team Dignitas, who's a team that maybe looked a little bit better than people would have expected at some points, but again, this was able to be a really easy win for Evil Geniuses. Jiizuke going 7-5-11 on the rise, and this was not an easy win. This was actually kind of a back and forth game, but by the end of it, it was a pretty comfortable victory for Evil Geniuses, because they had the Kai'Sa super scaling, they had the Rise scaling like crazy, and then by the end of it, Jiizuke was doing a ton of damage. It was really disgusting. So I mean, 3 games in, we've seen 3 really exciting performances from Jiizuke, playing a ton of mages, playing the champions in style we kind of know him for previously from his days of like Vitality and stuff like that. Where last year, Evil Geniuses in the team, they kind of had him on some weird picks. He was playing like Karma and stuff a lot. He was playing more supportive stuff. They weren't letting him just kind of play his style. And it seems like so far into this season, we're seeing something different. And yes, Jiizuke was bad last year. I mean, they showed the graphics where he was like 10th as far as LCS mid laners in a lot of stats. And if you guys know, there's 10 mid laners in the LCS, so he was dead last. He even got benched by the end of the year. And again, it was kind of rightfully so. His play was bad, but it is possible that the team wasn't setting him up for success. It was possible that the coaching staff wasn't setting him up for success, that the plays weren't and everything. But again, so far he's come out motivated. He's come out looking good. And this was the interview he had after their Immortals game, which is something I wanted to talk about. And this is where I would say he's kind of maybe, calling some people out. Let's see what he had to say after that game. Because I did love this interview from Jiizuke.
But like I said, we haven't spoken to you in some time after not seeing you in the LCS during the latter part of the last season. What has the journey been like for you getting back to this point?
I can't wait to play again. I think people have a wrong idea about me, so I wanted to make sure to shut some people up.
So I thought that was awesome. One, hey, is he taking shots at me? Like, obviously he's not taking shots at me directly, but there's no way he knows who I am. But I did think it was hilarious because, again, a ton of people have been sleeping on this guy. A ton of people were like, oh, does Evil Geniuses, should they go with Nemesis? Should they go a different way? And, Jiizuke was listening to it all. He was saying, okay, I hear what you guys are saying. I'm going to come out strong. I'm going to, have a big performance against Perks, and I'm going to snowball my team to victory. And if we take a look at the standings right now in the LCS, we'll see that Evil Geniuses is 3-0. They are atop their group, Cloud9's in their group. This is a team that people thought would be better. There was even a lot of people who had FlyQuest rated ahead of Evil Geniuses as well. And you can see Evil Geniuses is way ahead of FlyQuest. They're on top of Cloud9 with a win head-to-head against them. If we check out Group A, you'll see a bunch of 2-1 teams, a couple 1-win teams. You'll see that Evil Geniuses is the only 3-0 team right now, and Jiizuke is their mid laner. Now, I don't think Jiizuke has been their best player. I think a lot of people are saying Impact has been the best player in Evil Geniuses so far. Definitely's look good. Ignar's look good. Svenskarens look good. But Jiizuke's look good as well. It's not like he's getting carried. He is a big, big part of these victories. And there's an argument to be made that, he's one of the better mid laners in the league right now. And I know a lot of people this offseason were telling me, I'm wrong about Jiizuke and he's going to come out and start strong and fast. And hey, so far so good. You guys have been correct. But still, preseason tournament, I want to see him keep it up over the course of the year. We'll see how that goes. But I never said that Jiizuke wasn't a talented mid laner. I never said that he couldn't be good. I just said that he was very, very coin flippy. And from everything we saw last year, from everything he showed us, there was no reason to predict that he was going to be any better. So yes, you guys have been right so far, but still, I feel like it would have been bad of me to watch all those 2020 games, see him be ranked dead last in every single category in the LCS as far as mid laners go, and be like, oh yeah, Jiizuke is going to have a big season. Like, your Jiizuke fans, people like him. He's had a good history and past and stuff, but the recency stuff, there was nothing to believe that Jiizuke was going to come out hot, going to come out fast, and come out strong. But again, we know the talent is there. We know what the peak Jiizuke looks like. I mean, Jiizuke at his best can be as good as any mid laner in the LCS right now. And again, another thing he has going for him is that mid lane talent in the LCS is not that strong. It is not that great. Now, looking ahead for Evil Geniuses, obviously their last game is going to be against FlyQuest. We can see that here where, again, FlyQuest has not looked great. So Evil Geniuses is kind of on their way to a 4-0 start in this group. I mean, I don't think at this point anyone's going to be picking FlyQuest to knock out Evil Geniuses, to beat them in that game. Should be an easy matchup in the mid lane for Jiizuke. Palafox has not looked great so far. Also, Diamond, I think, has looked like really, really shaky and rocky, and Ignar's looked good. So they'll definitely have some opportunities to kind of, take over the bot lane there, hopefully. And Licorice, he's been a little bit shaky in the top lane, so Impact should probably be able to get another lead over him. It'll be interesting to see, obviously, now that people have seen Evil Geniuses for a week, they've seen their drafts and stuff, they've seen how they play as a team. If anyone can figure out a way to maybe pick them apart in the draft or pick them apart on the Rift or anything like that, this is a long tournament. It's a 3-week tournament where things are going to change from week to week, from day to day. And just because Evil Geniuses look super good now, doesn't mean they're necessarily going to keep looking good. And I also want to see Evil Geniuses against those teams over from Team A, because I think that Team Liquid, especially with Santorin next week, 100 Thieves when they're playing their best, and potentially even TSM when they're playing well too, is probably better than a lot of these teams in Group B. Yes, Cloud9 I think also is better now as well, but Dignitas, Immortals, FlyQuest playing how they are, like, these aren't super impressive wins to me. So yes, Evil Genius is probably going to go 4-0. They're probably going to be really good. They're probably going to get the 1 seed in their group, but I don't necessarily think that means they're the best team in the LCS right now, but they're definitely in the conversation, which is at least surprising and something a lot of people didn't expect. One thing to look ahead to, if Evil Geniuses does go 4-0, they would then be playing the 4 seed from Group A, which at this point, and assuming this is how things are going to play out, would be Golden Guardians at this point. So that also bodes super well for them, because yes, Golden Guardians has maybe looked a little bit better than people thought, and maybe they've surprised some people in some ways, but they have looked like a very beatable team. They're an aggressive, crazy team who has been able to gain some leads, but they've also made a ton of mistakes, and that would be a very nice first round matchup for Evil Geniuses to get even farther into the tournament. If they get Golden Guardians in a first round of that best of 3, I mean, Evil Geniuses would be massive favorites in that game. So that'll be exciting for them. Evil Geniuses fans, you got something to be hyped up about. I know there was a Sven interview where he was talking about hopefully going after a title this season, and he thinks they have the talent to do it, and that's awesome. Also, Jiizuke saying that the coaching staff he didn't really agree with last season, and now they're actually unlocking him and letting him do the things he wants to do, and he feels really confident about this team and the things that they can do this year as well. So if you're an Evil Geniuses fans, or just an LCS fan in general, you know, we want to see teams doing well. We want to see teams popping off. This team has a ton of talent. They're super exciting. So there's a lot of good things to have in store and just to look ahead for the future. But this was week 1 of the lock-in tournament. We still got tons of other stories and stuff to talk about as the week goes on. We're definitely going to talk about some more stuff. But hey, just know there's a lot of League of Legends to be played. Great start for Evil Geniuses, but it's not the end of the world. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. Again, that helps me out a ton with the YouTube algorithm. I'd appreciate it a ton. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about Evil Geniuses? Are they the best team in the LCS? Or who is your pick for the best so far through the first week of the lock-in tournament? Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!